Okay, recording is rolling. Welcome to Tuesday, February 28th. So you guys know there's SAT tomorrow. So if you want to know where you're supposed to be, because you might be testing or you might not be testing, most of you guys are, right? Then all that information I put on Google Classroom. I'm going to switch my screen over here. Actually, let me do that right now. Let me switch my screen over and show you guys exactly where to find that. Okay, so here's Google Classroom. So yesterday, posted a couple of Excel pages. Okay? So the one says locations has all the students who are taking the exam, like hundreds of students. So you can find yourself by last name and find exactly where you're supposed to go. Right? And then SAT relocation, because a lot of rooms are being relocated, including this one. So if you're not taking the exam tomorrow, you don't actually come to this room. You're going to be relocated. And I'll show you guys that too. Okay, so you guys know where to find those two files, right? Right there. Awesome. Okay, so let's switch back over here. Okay, say it's period 3, right? You guys would go to this classroom here, or since I'm making a video for all my classes, that here's all my class relocations on Wednesday, tomorrow. Yeah, okay. Right, so you guys got that? Okay, and then actually, I should tell you guys too that Excel file doesn't actually have the room numbers, just has teacher names. So just be aware of that. So be ready for that for you guys to school tomorrow. Now, if you are testing, make sure you bring your student ID. I mean, you're supposed to have it anyway, but especially tomorrow, right? You guys got your student ID? Okay. Because they do the SAT a little bit different every year. A lot of times they'll have teachers proctoring students that they know. But this year, that's not the case. Like I know I'm proctoring a whole class of students, and I only have one that I know. So one thing we're supposed to do is go around and just make sure that students are who they say they are. We have to check IDs. So you're going to bring your ID tomorrow. Okay, gotta bring your ID tomorrow. Okay? If you somehow forget it, then it's gonna be a process where you send you to the office and you get another one. So calculator. When you made this morning, they said you're allowed to bring your own calculator. There's a whole list of approved calculators. I think it's all scientific and a lot of graphic calculators. So if there's one that you're familiar with, you're comfortable using, then probably a good idea to bring that too for section 4 of math. Okay. All right. So you guys good so far? What's going on? Okay. So we're going to go over section 4 solutions today. I think we did one problem yesterday. Now, we are a few minutes into class. Before I started the video, I had you guys grade yourselves. So here's all the answers to section 4. The way I'm going to do this is I'm just going to start going through just in order. Now, we won't have time in class to do all of them. But if you have any questions about any of them, then let me know and we can just go to that one. Okay. So yeah, before I get rolling on this, is there any special requests or any particular problems you guys want to see? Yeah, which one?
For number 4, question 26.
Question 26. All right, let's flip over 26. We've got the mean weight of 6 people in an elevator is 160.5 pounds. So if you add all the people up and divide by 6, it comes up to that average weight. That's what mean is, right? Add them up and divide by the number. If the person with the lowest weight gets off, the mean weight of the remaining 5 becomes 168. I mean, of course, it would have to go up. The light person stepped off. What is the weight of the person with the lowest weight in pounds? Okay. Yeah, we could set that up. Okay. Well, we got 6 people with different weights. Here's how I might think of this. If you did 5 times this 168 average, right? So 5 people have an average of 168. Right? So 5 times 168 would be the total weight of those 5 people, right? Plus the weight of the 6th person. Maybe I'll call it how about W for weight, right? Okay. And then you divide by collectively those 6 people. That would have to come out to the average of 160.5 pounds. Wouldn't that be true? Okay, is that right? Okay, so I think you can that's probably the tricky part, is figuring that out. Okay, so these 5 people have an average of 168. Okay, add all of them up, throw in the 6th person, and then divide by 6, and then you get the average of 160.5. And so from here, I bet you guys can solve this, but just for completion, cross multiply the 6, 160.5 times 6, okay, is 963. 5 times 168 is 840. Okay, so we got like that. Subtract 840. 963 minus 840 is 123, and that would be pounds. So let's see if that, okay, option B, 26. Yeah, 26 is B, 123 pounds. Okay. Guys, okay. Okay. How about any other questions? Any other questions? No? Okay, so I'm gonna go back to the beginning of section 4 and just get going. And you guys have any questions along the way, or if you want me to skip to like a later question, then let me know. I will do that. So did we do number 1 yesterday? Yeah, okay. All right, so I was thinking so. Yeah, 14. Yeah, let's say 14 real fast. A community advocacy group. Oh, this was a tricky question, right? Polled 500 people who were selected at random from a small town and asked each person, are you in favor of the referendum to increase property tax rate? Of those surveyed, 67% said they were opposed to the property referendum, which the following statements must be true based on the results of the poll. They give you 3 options, and then there's multiple choices, like which combinations of those options. So option 1, if another 500 people were selected at random from the town they were polled, 67% of them would also be opposed to the property tax referendum. You know, the purpose of these polls is to get statements that should be approximately true, but it's not necessarily exactly true. Like that word must is probably carrying a lot of weight, right? Like maybe it's 65 or maybe it's 73, right? So I mean, that's probably a good approximation, but can you say exactly? Okay. And I think the way that SAT is going with that is no, right? Option 2, if 500 people were selected at random from a different town poll, 67% of them would be opposed to the tax referendum. Okay, that one is the one that's definitely incorrect. Right, so definitely don't choose option 2, because if you're picking a different town, you're talking about a completely different population of people with different ideas going on. Option 3, of all people in the town, 67% are opposed to the property referendum. Again, the purpose of these polls is to try to answer this question with a representative sample. So this should, again, kind of like option 1, be approximately true, but not necessarily exactly true. Okay? So see, what's tricky is there is an option B that says 1 and 3, which I might be tempted to pick myself, but they're going with option D, I think, right? Let me confirm that. Yeah, they're going with none. They're going with none of those. You can say must be true. Okay. Yeah.
Can you do 22?
22. Oh, yeah, this one. Okay, so there's this table. Okay, we've got these 5 neighborhoods in the city. It has different populations in different areas. One thing you guys see is that the larger the area, the more people fit there. That's a later question though. Okay. And this is for the year 2015, so January 1st, 2015. Okay. Over the past decade, the city has redrawn its borders, so the definitions of the neighborhoods have shifted around a little bit to balance school enrollments. Due to redrawing the borders, the population of Maple Mall increased by 30% from 2010 to 2012, then increased another 20% to 2014, and then there were no changes from 2014 to 2015, which brings us back to the table. What which best approximates the population of Maple Mall back in 2010? So we're gonna have to go like back in time, starting from the table. So the table is the most recent data, and then we're gonna go back in time. So the 2010 population, take population in 2010, whatever that was, if you increase it by 30%, because increasing by 30%, that's the same thing as multiplying by what? Yeah, 1.30, right? So 1.30, that's an increase of 30%. And then the next year it increased by a further 20%. That's times 1.20, right? Did I do that? Okay. And then the year after that, there was no change. So you say multiply by 1 or just don't change it. Right. And that brings you up to Maple Mall had a population of 122,000 right, at 2015, right? Okay. So what was the initial population? Well, take the final population, right? Divide the 1.20 to get rid of the 20% increase. Divide again by 1.30 to undo the 30% increase. So that 122,000 divided by 1.3 divided by 1.2. Looking at 78,205. Okay, and yeah, option C says 78,200. I think that's what they're going with. 22 is, yeah, 22C. Okay, you guys good? All right. All right, any other questions?
25.
25? Yeah, let's do 25. Volume of a cube is 1/8 c to the power 3, where c is a positive constant. Ooh, okay. Maybe c could possibly represent the length of the side. I mean, that would make sense in this context. Right? Which of the following gives the surface area of the cube? Surface area. You know what I would think I would do with this? Because conveniently, 1/8 is a perfect cube itself, isn't it? Right? Like, here, we're talking about a cube. So I might draw this out because this way. Right? Like if they said the volume of the cube was c cubed, I would say, well, this is c, and this is c, right? C by c by c would give you c cubed, right? Width, depth, height. Right? But it's 1/8 c cubed. Guys, what's the cube root of 1/8? What times what is 1/8? Yeah, 1/2, right? Okay. So shouldn't it be like half c, half c, half c, like that, right? Because that volume would be 1/8 c cubed, wouldn't it? Half c by half c by half c, right? So that volume is in fact 1/8 c to the power 3, right? So surface area. How many surfaces does that cube have? 6, right? 3 that you see and then 3 on the other side. Right? So let's find one area, like one face, the area of a face, and then just multiply by 6. Okay. So the area of a face is 1/2 c times 1/2 c, which is like 1/4 c squared. Right. So the area total would be 6 times the area of a face, which is 6/4 is 3/2, isn't it? 6/4 is 3/2, and then c squared. If that looks, this should be the answer. That option B, I think option B looks like 25. No, hold on. They're saying, whoops. What did I do? Oh yeah, 6/4, or sorry, that is A. Yeah, option A. That's what it is. Okay, so I reduced the fraction. They left it as 6 times c/2 quantity squared. Okay, which actually was just middle step. So okay, better. Right. Right, guys, good.
Yeah, could you scroll? Could you zoom in a little?
To this one.
No, to the others. There's some.
To this here.
Yeah.
All right, here. It is right here. All right, so go back to the beginning of section 4. And so number 2, percent of music sold as CDs by year, right? And so 2000, it was like over 90%, kept going up, and then looks like plummeted after that. According to the line graph, between which 2 consecutive years was the greatest change in percent of music sold as CDs? Which on the face of it looks like a tricky question, but the vertical axis is percent of music sold as CDs. So you were just looking for the greatest change, right? Which would be the greatest drop off, right? Which looks like between this point and this point. Does that look like the greatest drop off? Okay. 06 to 07, it should be C, okay. 2C. Number 3, We got x and g of x. So think of it like xy, like xy values. Some values of a function are shown above, which the following defines g. Now, there's a methodical way you can do this, and there's probably a quick way you can do this. The methodical way, I might use slope intercept or point slope. Call it point slope. So what's the slope? If this is a line. Okay. So pick 2 points and do rise over run. Rise over run. Okay. So pick two y values like 17 and 11. And then two x values, the corresponding x values would be 4 and 2. Okay. So wouldn't that be 6 over 2 is equal to 3? So we got stuff with 3. Okay. And then let's do y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. This is not the only way to do it. This is just one way. Okay. I could pick a point like a third point. Why not? 623. So y minus 23 equals 3 times x minus 6. Okay. If they all line up in a straight line, this works. Okay. Distribute, y minus 23 equals 3x minus 18. Y equals 3x, add 23 over, is that plus 5? So is that option B, I think, 3 is B. Okay. Okay, so that's like a methodical way to do it. Okay. But there's probably a faster way. And I think the faster way would be just to go through their answer choices one by one and plug in points and see if they work. Now, last class I tried this, and I think the first coordinate actually works for all the choices. Like all these lines converge at that first coordinate, right? But then if you pick either of the other coordinates, then the only one that checks out for is option B. Like okay, if you plug in 4, you should get 17. So plug in 4 for x, 3 times 4 is 12, plus 5 is 17. And that's the only one that works for the okay. Number 4, souvenir store sells postcards and magnets. Each postcard costs $1. Each magnet costs $3. Annalee purchased a total of 10 postcards and magnets. Right? Cost a total of $22. How many magnets did she purchase? I think this is worded kind of funny because wait, is it 10 postcards? No, it's like 10 total items. That's what they're trying to say. 10 total items. So this sounds like a system of equations. We got a bunch of money going around. We got a bunch of items going around. We're going to create an equation for each of those. Right? So $1 per postcard times the number of postcards plus $3 per magnet times the number of magnets has to come out to $22. Would that be true? That's a true statement. Okay. The other thing we know is true is that the total of postcards and magnets is 10 items. Right? Isn't that your system of equations right there? My system. Right? And there's different methods that you can use to solve systems of equations. You could use substitution. That'd be fine. I'm going to use I'm going to take one equation and subtract the other equation because that eliminates the postcards. 3m minus m is 2m. So 2 times the number of magnets she bought is 12. Of course, all these numbers have units attached to them. Just kind of skip past that. Divided by 2, 6 magnets. The number of magnets bought is 6, right, which was the question. So that answers it. Yeah, D. Where's D? Okay.
Could you go over number 23?
23?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's check out 23. Oh, okay. So this is we're back to this table with the cities and the neighborhoods. Okay, so the other question was relationship between area and square miles and the population and thousands of residents. Notice they underline the word thousands. So whatever the equation is, when they would say n, like for Cedarvale, the number would be 12. Okay, and then for Bend, it'd be 2. And then 122, 85, and 78. Okay, because we're talking about thousands of people, right? So in 2015 can be represented as a linear function. That just means if there's 3 times the area, you should be able to fit 3 times the population. Right? So they all have the same population density. Okay. Which of the following represents that relationship? So again, there's you could use a methodical method, like I did a couple questions ago, right, and get it that way. Right? But probably the faster way is just to start going through the choices and see which one matches up. Let's do that. Zoom in here. Let's try Cedarvale, for example. If you plug in 12 for n, you should get 57 for the area. Let's see if that works. So 12 times 2, let's see, 2 times 12 plus 18. That's not 57, that's 42. So that one fails. So it can't be A. Let's try option B. 2.5 times 12 minus 300. Well, that's a negative number. That definitely fails. So that's out. Option C, 3.5 times 12 plus 15. That is 57. Okay, I'm already liking option C. Okay. Let's see if option D works. 4.5 times 12 minus 107. Yeah, that didn't work. Check out either. So even just from one neighborhood, Cedar Vale.
Wait a minute, is it negative 107 minus 107?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, but it still fails.
Oh.
Yeah, but you're right. Yeah, it should be negative. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Let's pick another town and just confirm that works. How about Popper Park? Like, if you plug in 78 for the thousands of people, you should get 288 for the area. So what's 3.5 times 78 plus 15? All right, it should say something close to 288. Oh, it's exactly 288. Right, so we're good. Okay, guys got it? Okay. And it could have done like a point slope or something. Okay. All right. Number 5, if 7 times x minus y is equal to 4, what is the value of x minus y? Oh, just divide the 7 down, right? You guys see that? Just divide the 7. So would that be option A, 4 over 7? Just like that. Number 6, the average annual precipitation in Orlando is 13/10 of what it is in Columbus. So it's raining more in Orlando than Columbus, right? Like 30% more. The average precipitation in St. Cloud is 7/10 of what it is in Columbus. Ooh, so it's raining less in St. Cloud than Columbus, right? Like 30% less. The average precipitation in Columbus is 1,000 millimeters. How much more rainfall in Orlando than St. Cloud? Okay. So, because it's 1,000 in Columbus, isn't it 1,300 in Orlando? Jot that down. So it's 1,300 millimeters in Orlando. Okay. And then 7/10 of 1,000 is 700. So it's 700 in St. Cloud. And the question is how much more here than here, which means you're going to subtract 600 millimeters. Okay, guess that. So option A from that, yeah, 6 is A. Okay. Very good. Number 7, which of the following is equivalent form of ooh? Okay, we're just gonna have to work this out on paper. We got 2.6a minus 3.5 quantity squared minus, and then in parentheses 7.3a squared minus 4.1. Okay. So you're gonna have to FOIL FOIL this bit, okay, and then distribute this negative sign. So you have to do both those things, right? So in case it helps, we throw in this middle step. Right, and then do minus 7.3a squared plus 4.1. Okay. One of the tricks is negative makes a positive there, right? Okay, so let's FOIL this. Okay. So 2.6 squared, this is where it helps. Use calculator. I got 6.76a squared. Okay. Then outside, inside. So 2.6 times 3.5, and there's 2 of those, and it's negative. So negative 18.2 and scaled by A. And 3.5, it's 12.25. And I'm saying plus because negative makes a positive. Minus 7.3a squared plus 4.1. Okay, just like that. Okay. Ooh, I got like terms there. There's a squared. So 6.76 minus 7.3 is negative 0.54. There's your a squared term. Okay. We got negative 18.2a. And we got 12.25 plus 4.1 is 16.35. Okay. So when it looks like that, that looks like option D. Yeah, that is D. Okay, there you go. Okay, good. Number 8, American Association of University Women hopes to expand its reach by starting a total of T student organizations on college campuses each year. There were S organizations at the beginning of 2015. Which function models the total number of organizations Y that they hope to have X years after 2015? So even yesterday, I remember a lot of these type questions where SAT really cares about, can you take a word problem and translate it into math. So, just at a glance, I'm already picking option C. You guys see option C? Okay. Because the number of organizations is Y. Okay. They started off already at the base year with some S organization. So see the plus S, like that's the Y-intercept word. Then every year that passes that's like the independent variable F's, right? So every year goes by. Okay. They're adding on T organizations per year, right? So it would have to be option C, wouldn't it? Like I said. You guys see anything good so far? Any questions about any rest of these? All right, let's keep going then. Number 9, resistance of a conductor is found by dividing the voltage across the conductor by the current through conductor. Which of the following gives voltage in terms of R and I, or resistance and current? After a spring break, we're gonna do electric circuits in this class, but sometime after. Let's see them. So they told you resistance is found by dividing V by I. That was their setup. And the question is, what is V in terms of R and I? So cross multiply the I times R equals V. That is option D. Yeah, option D. Okay. By the way, in physics, that's called Ohm's law. Ohm's law. Let's get to see that in a few weeks. Number 10. In 1893, Major League Baseball pitching distance from the plate to the base was increased from 50 feet to 60.5 feet. All right. Which of the following is closest to the increase in pitching distance in meters? 1 meter is approximately 3 feet. That's not exactly true, but right. And notice they're looking for the increase, right? So looking for the change. So the first thing I would do is take the difference to find the change. Wouldn't that be 10.5 feet? You guys see 10.5 feet? Okay. So the increase is 10.5 feet. So 10.5 feet. I would make a very small dimensional analysis table. Pick out some railroad tracks. Now they told you 3 feet uses an approximation for 1 meter. Not exactly true, but kind of close. Okay. So if you use that 10.5 divided by 3, that would give you 3.5, and the unit would be meters. That's have to be meters, right? Guys got that? Okay. That's the answer looking for, option A. Okay. But you know what? There, out of the choices they offered, there actually is a better option because this ratio is closer to 3.28 feet per meter, something like that. And if you divide that out, let's see what it, a better approximation to it. It's closer to like 3.2 meters is really what it is. Okay. And there, yeah. So if you pick option B, you were actually more correct than their answer choice. But, I guess the takeaway is like if they tell you some assumption like that, then just go with their assumption. The ratio. Number 11. Ooh, a stats question. So we got pediatric and adult and 2 different levels of education, master's and doctor. And we got total values. In a survey, 529 social workers focusing on pediatric or adult services, right? So pediatric is like working with kids, indicated their highest level of education. If one of the social workers is selected at random, which of the following is closest to the probability that the selected worker is a pediatric social worker whose highest level of education is a doctorate degree. So that sounds like an intersection of both pediatric and also doctorate, which is this cell right here. So if we pick anybody at random, and there's 529 people total, so this number has to match this number, right? Is that what's the probability that it's one of these 221 people? Wouldn't that just be 221 divided by 529? Right? That's the exact answer right there. Since it's the calculator portion, let's divide that out. So it's looking like 0.4177. I'll call it 0.418. Okay. Ooh, could you guys call that 41.8%? The same thing. Okay. Okay. So yeah, they went with the decimal. It's option B. Okay. Here. Yeah, thank you. All right. Number 12 in the XY. Okay, so we got this linear relationship. Right, look, so kind of close to standard form, sort of. XY plane, the graph of which of the following equations is perpendicular to that equation above? Perpendicular. Because what tells you if something's perpendicular? How do you determine perpendicular? It's a negative reciprocal slope. Negative reciprocal slope, right? Okay. So way I would approach this is I'm gonna put this in slope intercept form, find the slope, and then find the negative reciprocal, and then figure out from there. So we got negative 3x plus 4y is equal to 5. I mean, there might be another way to do this too, but let's show you guys my way. Okay. So I'll do 4y equals 3x plus 5. Therefore, y equals 3/4 x plus 5/4. Okay. I care about the slope. So the slope is 3/4. Right? Up 3/4. So the perpendicular slope would have to be what? -4/3. Because negative reciprocal. Okay. So I want an equation that has a slope of -4/3. Now all their answer choices are, I think it's called standard form. So just at a glance, I'm thinking the answer is going to be C. Does that look like it's probably going to be? Because I see 4s and 3s. But let's confirm that. Subtract 4x over. So 3y equals -4x plus 5. And then divide by 3. Yeah, that would in fact give you a slope of -4/3, which is what we're looking for. So it's got to be C. You guys good? All right, 13. Ooh, 2 equations. We've been seeing lots of systems of equations. Okay? So we got a linear equation here. And oh, is the second one a vertical line? The second one's a vertical line, isn't it? In fact, they could have written this a little bit better. If you cross multiply it by 3, isn't that x equals 18? That's just a vertical line at x equals 18, right? System of equations has solution x, y. And of course, x is going to be 18 because that's the only place you could cross. What is the value of y? Well, we just figured out x must be 18. Like however those lines cross, it's going to be something like this, right? The x coordinate has to be 18. So let's plug in 18 right here and figure out what is y. Because what is 18 divided by 3? 6, right? And that's negative. So then I'm going to add 6 to both sides. It's adding 6 over. What's 6 plus 2? 8, which has to be the answer. Double check that. 13. Yeah, 8. Okay. 14. Wait, did we do this one already? Okay, yeah. All right, thanks. 15. Ooh, 2 inequalities. Which of the following pairs of ordered pairs satisfies the inequalities above? Okay. Yeah, probably different ways you could do this. If you wanted to like graph both of these and shade the part of the graphs that was the intersection of the two, you could do it that way. But I think the fastest way would be to go through the answer choices one by one until you stumble across the answer that works for both of them. So let's start at A and work down from there. So -3 for x and -1 for y. Okay. So -3 for x. So 4 times -3 is -12, minus 1 is -13. -13 is in fact less than -1, so that checks out. But how about the second equation? X plus y is less than 2. Oh yeah, that would work too, wouldn't it? -4 is less than 2, isn't it? Right. So just randomly, A happened to work. Is that the answer? 15? Yeah, 15 is A. Right. Let's do one of the counter examples. Let's say you started with C because positive numbers look nice, right? Let's see if C works. So if you plug in 3 for x, so 3 times 4 is 12 minus 1 is 11. Is 11 less than 1? Ooh, that didn't work. Ooh, got a table with 3 questions. Right, so types of exercise and a burn rate. Now they didn't give you units for the burn rate, but I think they give it to you somewhere in this paragraph. One method of calculating calories a person will burn by doing a particular exercise is to multiply the number of minutes of doing the exercise by a constant called the burn rate for that exercise. Right. So wouldn't the unit on this number be calories per minute? Right, calories per minute. So this is like 3 calories per minute shooting fast. The table shows the burn rate for a 100-pound person for 8 different types of exercise. Number 16, 200-pound people, okay, so this table applies to them, have been exercising for an hour, 1 speed walking, 1 doing yoga. which of the following will be closest to the difference in their total exercise times in minutes when they have each burned an additional 20 calories? Oh, in 1 hour, 60 minutes. That's good to know too, right? So yeah, an additional. So we're looking for like a change in 20 calories. Okay. Yeah, so this whole thing about they've been exercising for an hour is completely irrelevant. They could have said they're exercising for 5 hours, right? As long as they exercise the minimum amount of time to burn the 20 calories. Okay. You could start from rest, like we're starting from burning no calories. So how much time does it take to burn up to 20 calories, right? You go just from 0. Although, if it's linear, you can pick any point in time. Yeah, so an additional 20 calories. So we're looking for a change in 20 calories. Okay. So we got to come up with some kind of equation and then work it from there. So I think the calories you burn is equal to the burn rate times time, like some version of that, right? Calories burned is burn rate times time. And we're looking at 2 different types of exercise, walking and yoga. So the calories burned walking is, where is it? Wait, did they say speed walking? Yeah, okay, yeah. Speed walking is 5 calories per minute times the number of minutes. And the calories burned doing yoga is 1.5 calories per minute times the number of minutes. Right? Wouldn't that be true? Okay. No, they're looking for like a change in 20 calories. And that would be true for that guy, and that would also be true for this guy. It takes some different amounts of time to get there. Okay. It's gonna take more time to reach that by doing yoga. Okay. So let's pop in 20 for each of those calorie burn. So 20 calories burn at 5 calories per minute. The number of time, I should do time walking and time yoga. Those are different amounts of time. I'm going to specify that. Walking versus 20 calories burn, 1.5 time doing yoga, right? I'm looking for a time difference in minutes, right? Yeah, the difference in minutes. So we got to solve this, and then subtract the 2. Okay. So let's divide over those burn rates. So the first one's 4. So time walking would be 4 minutes. And then what's 20 divided by 1.5? That's 13. So time doing yoga would be 13.33 minutes. Okay, that's true. So the difference in time would be that minus that, which is like 9.33 minutes. Okay. Yeah, so that one was worded a little tricky, but there we go. Option B, 9.3 minutes. Okay. 17. According to the information in the table, what is the approximate number of calories that will be burned by a 100-pound person shooting baskets for 30 minutes? Oh, this is a more straightforward question. We're just back to this. Okay. So shooting baskets was 3 calories per minute, and we're doing it for 30 minutes. So 3 calories per minute, 30 minutes. Does that sound like 90 calories? 3 times 30 is 90. Let's see. 17 is, yeah, 17. Oh, calories burned versus time. Ooh, calories burned versus time. And the question here is, what exercise are they referring to? Okay, so each exercise has an associated burn rate. Guess what property of this graph tells you burn rate? Is it a coordinate, a slope, or an area? It's a slope. Yeah, calories per minute. That's the rise over run. Right. One good skill from this class, physics. Right. We've done a lot of stuff like that. So let's find rise over run. Actually, extrapolating, it looks like it goes pretty close to the origin. So I'll pick the origin as one of the points, right? Okay. So looks like in 50 minutes, it's pretty close to 25 minutes is 50 calories. You guys do that? 50 calories in 25 minutes. Does that sound like 2 calories per minute? 2 calories per minute is slope. Okay. So which exercise has 2 calories per minute? I see light aerobics does. Okay. And that is an option, light aerobics. So 18 is B, light aerobics. Okay. All right, guys good? Ooh, this fan. And they said there's a spot of paint on the fan and it's spinning, and we got Y versus T. And the question is, what does that graph say? Right. And they give you some options, what it could mean. Guys, do you think that's probably a sine or a cosine graph? I bet you could describe this with either a sine or a cosine graph, right? Simple harmonic motion, we've you guys seen stuff similar to that in this class recently. Okay. The one I like is the distance of the spot of paint from the desk, right? Because here, let's go over the counter examples. Distance traveled by the spot of paint would be like a linear relationship. This displacement would just zero out periodically. So displacement would zero out periodically. Distance would like that. Distance of the paint from the center of the fan, that's called its radius, and its radius is just a constant value. Okay. But yeah, from the tabletop, like the lowest point it gets, there's still some height. At the highest point, it's even higher up. Yeah, so it's gonna oscillate between those two. It's like a sine or cosine curve. Number 20. Here, h equals f minus g all divided by g. If f is positive and g is negative, which of the following must be true? Okay. Well, let's see what would have to be true. So g is negative, f is positive. Guys, what is a positive number minus a negative number always? That must come out to what? Positive. Right? And what is a positive number divided by a negative number always? Yeah, it would have to be negative, right? So I'm going to see if there's something that says H has to be negative. So A, B, ooh, C and D. Okay, those are both showing negative. Now, how can we narrow down from there? Well, how about this? What if you bump F? What if F is like approaching 0? Negative G divided by G itself would be -1. So if F was 0, the answer would have been C. But if F is any positive number, then that's going to blow up the numerator like a larger magnitude than that. So yeah, it has to be, it could be like -1.2, it could be -2, -3, -4, -5, but it's got to be greater magnitude than 1, and it's got to be negative. So less than -1. Number 21, we got quadrilateral LMNO. What is the length of LM? So they told you one side got 4 units down here, and they told you some angles. We got some right angles. We got some 45-degree angles. Hey, is this a 45, 45, 90 triangle? And is this a 45, 45, 90 triangle? Ooh, they are, right? So you could do Pythagorean theorem. You could do 4 squared plus 4 squared, take the square root. Alternatively, you guys know for this shaped triangle, the hypotenuse is always the square root of 2 times one of the legs, right? That's a handy trick to know. So this is 4 times the square root of 2. And the question is, what is LM? But this is another 45, 45, 90 triangle, which means this side is equal to this side. So this is also 4 times the square root of 2. You guys see that? So the answer is square root 2. Okay, all good? All right. All right, I think we did the next 2 questions already. See what tell us about the ring. See if we got any questions about anything. Any last questions? Ooh, all right. So you guys know I'm not going to see you tomorrow. So it's a reminder where you're supposed to be tomorrow. There's 2 Excel files. If you're, and those are posted on Google Classroom. If you're testing, then there's a list of hundreds of names. You can find your name by last name. So it shows you where to go. If you're not testing, then depending on which one of my classes they're in, because I'm making the video right now, these are my own relocations because there's going to be a test in this particular room tomorrow. Okay. All right. Well, I hope you guys do well on the SAT, and yeah, that goes well.